What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Late Night Dice Ramblings from the Warp. It's going to be a bit of a long episode. We got a lot to cover, and we took a week off because we're lazy jackasses. As always, joined by Kyle and Christian. Say hi to the folks. I don't know who's going first.
How you doing, folks?
Hi, everybody. This spicy episode brought to you by Forest and Bourbon.
Possibly, yeah. Forrest definitely kicked me in the shins. Um, so let's go from the top. We got some new drops while we were out at TXO in Dallas. Um, Probably the one that's the most exciting to a lot of people. The glaive is finally coming out in plastic.
How dare you say that's more exciting than fucking Angron, bro? God, come on.
Angron with a Freddy Krueger-esque like body and shape is also coming out. He actually looks pretty cool, but his head just looks kind of weird in the armor. I'm not knocking it for anybody who likes it. It's just a kind of it's definitely a corrupted Angron. Like it's definitely transfigured Angron. Um, Pretty dope model though. It's going to be colossal. It went on pre-order. Probably going to be like on sale by the time this episode airs. But yeah, we got Angron transfigured. We got the glaive, and then along with the glaive, we're also getting a new whirlwind. So that's kind of cool. And from what it looks like, we're going to get some different variants of the whirlwind, which is exciting. I'm hoping I get landmine missiles back. That'd be dope. But I don't think GW loves me because I keep bashing on their shit. Um, but I do miss because I think it was in like fourth or fifth. I could fire a missile profile and it would basically put down a template and it was like, those are landmines now. I miss that. That's yeah. And then along with that also, they did announce the next Journal Tactica, which is going to be the mailed fist, which sounds like you're gonna open an envelope and just get sucker punched by like a Disney punching glove. But it's all super heavy tanks. I'm guessing this is gonna have the rules for the glaive in it, updated rules for the glaive. Probably some upgraded rules for the Fellblade, and I'm hoping, guys, I am hoping we have rules for that new version of the Fellblade slash Falchion that's just a big ass Inferno cannon. That would make me happy. Now, there was something else that dropped this weekend, and it dropped before plastic destroyers or more plastic models we needed or more character models or more anything. So I'm going to
Be
turn it over to
excited, fuck.
Christian.
Be excited for it.
I'm going to turn it over to Christian. Custodes are getting a brand new everything because that's exactly what we needed. So
Hell yeah,
much forward.
we needed custodes. No, but that's exciting, man. Custodes are finally get their book to come out, so and there are signs of them actually, like, I'm not gonna say new rules, but some updated rules that for their units. For the Vexilla, you usually when you took the Vexilla, you couldn't get their weapon, but they had one modeled with the sword with the Vexilla, so they might get their sword back. On the carriers, they hinted at more space because what they said you could take in it would exceed the capacity by 2. So now I'm pretty sure you could take Constantine Valdor with the 5-man inside of Cronus Graph Carrier. So yeah, there's definitely updates in that book, and so all the Doomers out there that do play Custodes are saying that, they needed some love. I'm pretty sure they're gonna update it. So that's looking nice. And the models I think look great. They look essentially like cover art custodians back in the Heresy. Because they did look like that. They did look skinny. They didn't look as bulky, or at least of what I remember and what I was looking at. I don't know if you remember, Gabe, when they were like basically tall and skinny.
Homeboy, I remember when Custodes were a model that was a dude in a loincloth and a spear. All right.
Now it's a female in a loincloth and a spear.
Kyle, don't poke those people.
Hey, here at Late Night Dice, we approve that message.
I'm not.
Take that with however you want to take it. No, I'm just kidding.
So
I like female Custodes. I have 2 of them. So
it's not that I'm not excited for Custodes. It's that I just don't care. It's not that I'm like, ugh, custodes gross. It's like I'm kind of indifferent because I see them so rarely. And the times that I did see them in second and into third edition, like the time you saw custodes, it's it's like showing up to putt putt with a baseball bat. Everything you brought was tooled toward power armor, and you're like, oh, custodes. So they've always been the wild card. I'm not disappointed we're getting them. I would have liked to have had plastic destroyers, some more plastic hits. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But I think the reason there isn't as much excitement around them is because a lot of people are like, why do we need custodes? Because they see it as the heresy is like the Space Marine thing. So it's not a lack of excitement. It's more of it's not my bag of tricks. I'm glad you're excited for it.
The models look great.
I know
Um,
my buddy. I know my buddy Eric. So Eric is one of my best friends to game with. I love game with this dude, and he was like, "I'm gonna collect the full 10,000 custodes." I'm like, "Okay, you masochist." He called me when they dropped, and he's like, "Bro, I'm in trouble." And I'm like, "What? Do you need bail? Whatever? Like, what's going on, dude? Like, you good?" And he's like, "No, no, everything's fine." I'm like, "Well, you said you're in trouble. What are you talking about?" He goes, "Man, they're releasing the whole line in plastic." And I was like, "You stupid nerds!" Like, so it is exciting. It's just not going to be exciting for a whole lot of people because there are some guys that are a little jaded toward custodes. Fine, cool. It is cool to just get new models. It's always good to have new models in the game, new models in the era. You know, I'm glad GW didn't go. Here's a bunch of plastic custodes for 40K, and you can use them in Heresy, but they're not going to be the right scale. So
Are they true
I'm
scale
happy.
game?
So there was that. So we got cassettes, we got that, and then a bunch of pre-orders went live. Angeron Transfigured went live, and so did Latara Saren. She went on pre-order. Also the
oh,
Skitari Battle
I'm
Group.
getting one of those models now. With what we figured out, Gabe, I'm probably getting that model now.
You would. Um and then the Skitari Battle Group went on pre-order, along with the Steel Hand of Mars Journal Tactica, which is their little expansion book to run those models. So that's pretty cool. I think Skitari are going to be kind of fun. I'm eager to see what those rules really look like. Um,
With everything that
beyond,
released, Gabe, how do you feel about those tacticas, like those little journals coming out? Because those are essentially going to be the ways we get updates to games, right? Newer, like,
mm, it feels like coffee drip FOMO. If I'm being real with it, there is stuff in there that's cool. You know, we're going to start seeing some stuff from the legions and everything else. As always, it's always the rollout that bothers me. It's never what they do; it's how they roll it out. So whenever we look at, say, like the Journal Tacticas for the Saturnine, or the forces of Saturnine, right?
yep,
Only two legions got a real big bump out of that: Thousand Suns and Word Bearers. And as you guys learned at TXO, that Word Bearers unit is no slouch, right?
yep, pretty good.
So they came out and they were like, "Hey, everyone's gonna get a cool Saturnine thing," and I was like, "Yay, everybody gets a Saturnine thing!" And now they're like, but it'll be after this book, this book, this book, this book, and the Plastic Custodes. So, like, on one hand, I'm like, I like the journals. They're a pretty good like throw out there. Um, but some of the things that are in them can potentially produce an unlevel landscape. And then we end up in the scenario that I don't like, which is where the journals will create power creep. That's what I don't want to see. If Kyle, are you familiar with the term power creep?
Oh yeah,
Okay. Just
Warhammer. I mean, no, World of Warcraft.
oh, okay, fair. I know you're still relatively new to like actual Warhammer, like the way we do these rollouts and such. Power creep has always been a big problem in most of the games, and in recent years, Games Workshop has kind of leaned into it, been like, man, we're gonna sell the shit out of these for 2 months. Like, so that's
Yeah.
I already know the model you're talking about. Was I excited whenever I figured out how good it was? I didn't mean to do it, but
so it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna sell the shit out of these right here. I'm hoping the Libers and the Journal Tacticas don't produce that power creep. I do like the flavor, and I do like the new kind of things that we're gonna see and things that we can do. I love it. I would just like it to be streamlined in a fashion where it doesn't produce these huge gaps in Legion performance from one to another,
we're
if that
looking
makes
at you,
sense.
Kratos.
Yeah, the Kratos is insane. Um,
Yeah, I never seen a model where y'all kept on saying like, "Yeah, GW power crept this one." I was like, "Yeah, probably not." And then I
yeah,
played it, and I was
I
just like,
remember. I remember saying out loud, I was like, "Well, the Kratos, like they built that bitch to sell," and you were like, "Oh, it's a model's a model," and then after TXO, you were like, "I need 8 more."
"No, no, 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 no." I didn't say I need 8 more. I just said if someone wants to be that guy, I don't know why these fuckers are all taking Vindicators when you could take 2 Kratos.
Well, the Kratos is a power tank. It's a beast. It's an all facet vehicle, and it's tough. One of the things that we're sleeping on in this edition, at least in certain bubbles, is the versatility of Armor 14.
Oh
Yeah.
Armor 14 is actually a thing again. Like, I remember when the Land Raider first got rules in like third edition, when it got the new and improved Land Raider, and I was like, man, I want one of those. I'd always wanted a Land Raider. And then when I got one, everyone was like, look at this jackass got a Land Raider. And I was just like, yep, it holds this many people. And I was so excited. And everyone just like, man, Armor 14, man. They were really upset. And I was like, dude, what is the deal? And then I started playing and I realized, like, I'm never losing this stupid little tank. This thing never dies. Now, when we got to Heresy 2.0 and 1.0, it was just like, what do you have? I have a tank. Well, it's going to die.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, how many last cannons did you bring? 3? All right. Well, I'm losing a tank this turn.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a sure thing that your tanks were going to get popped. Now it's like, I don't know if I can kill that tank reliably without bringing a lot of things to dedicate to it. And so Armor 14 is good. And then having the Kratos the way it is, where it is Armor 14 and it is stable, means that it is the perfect hybrid between what a Fellblade can do and what a regular tank can do, because it can react like a regular tank, but it has all the benefits of a super heavy and the firepower of a super heavy.
Yeah.
So it's a very good tank. It's really effective, but it's one of those where you kind of want to like tell yourself like, do I need 2? Do I need 3? And then you get into how certain events are going, and you're like, I'll take 5.
Yeah, I mean, it is real good, and we want to say that it is a real good model. But we also got to remember what we did say in the beginning with this hard bubble theory, and that kind of did show because I did take a Kratos, and the Kratos did wonders. So did my Tormentor. They did wonders for everyone's vehicle. I shocked a lot of people when I blew up a lot of their vehicles turn one, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know how to win this." But then I told them how to beat my list, and they thought about it, and you know, I think I only won one game that whole event. Actually, yeah, I think I only won one game, but that was not the purpose of my list. My list was just to blow up bunch of vehicles. TXO was fun. We just ran into a Terminator bubble. There was a lot more Terminators that I did not expect at that event.
So let's get into TXO. First, I want to start by saying this. John ran a hell of an event.
Yeah, man. I
I've
didn't.
Go
I'll
ahead,
say
Kyle.
I'm a new player. I've never understood what like a narrative really meant, but he actually did try to have a narrative. Every table had every mission had something special. It was themed. There was, we were trying to take over planet, and the missions were constantly going downhill as the days progressed because we were not winning the planet over. Like I thought it was good.
Yeah, for sure. Christian, what do you think?
I'm kind of gonna steal your thunder because I think you're gonna hit on this topic. But John, hella event, prize pool was amazing. The narrative amazing was for challenges, like just accepting the challenge. Like he made it narrative as hell. And damn, the Titan fight, those Titan rules for that mission he had and playing that mission, that I think that was that has promise. I'm not gonna say it's 100% good because I think there's a little things that could be tweaked to make that an actual like I guess how would you say like just a map that we have that we could always play. Like
So
that was a really cool idea.
let's go back a step.
Mhm.
So I go to quite a few events, and this is the first time I've been to one of John's events. But I talk to John quite often, and we share thoughts and stuff when we go to certain places because I run into him a lot, and his event was fantastic. He had a great narrative. He had campaign points. He had narrative points. He had great mission packs, beautiful terrain for his tables. And then we all promptly were like, "What are campaign points?" and ran off the rails because we're dumb, idiot children. Some people were still playing the campaign points, but what was really cool was you were like, "Hey, how's it going?" Blah blah whatever. And then John was like, "Hey, if you're in a challenge, let me know." So people would call out a challenge. John would come over with a cool, like a trinket or a knickknack or a pin or a chain or a pendant, a thing to show you were in a challenge, you lost a challenge, you won a challenge. Really promoting that immersion into it. Lots of price support, lots of immersion into the narrative. And then a lot of us were just like, there's a story? That's on us. Right? Like
there's a 130 millimeter base in the mission pack.
yeah, like that kind of shit. 100%. I loved the way John adapted to some things. Normally on this channel, I try to do my best to stay really overwhelmingly positive. But I will say it was really disappointing to see us start an event with 28 players and only 12 people be around for awards. That was a kick in the nuts. That especially with the amount of effort John gave to that game and gave to all the players, he deserved better than half the guys being there at the last day.
And this is not something I think we should say just about TXO. This is just everything trying to grow the community as heresy because this is not just that event. This
Yeah,
this
this
is a
is
couple events.
From what I
This is a
understand,
problem as us.
that's a 40K problem.
no. Okay, so okay, hang on,
Mindset.
hang on, hang on. No,
No.
no, 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 no. Hold on, hold on.
No.
Mindset.
I got
Nope.
no. It's not. It's not. So here's the
Nope.
deal. In the 40K side of things, that gaming environment is geared toward being a competitive gaming tournament. So there is a time and a place where you can look at the leaderboards and be like, well, not coming back from this one, and it's completely within reason to dip out and save your time. Now in heresy narrative events, you're never really out of the running because you're supposed to be there to play the game, play through the story, and do all the stuff. And when an event runner goes through all of the trouble to make sure that you had great price support, you had great tables, you had great information, you had fantastic missions and stories to run through, and you sign up for the event, but then you don't commit the proper time and respect to that event. That's where the issue comes up. That is not a 40K mindset. It is a mindset of guys who just don't feel as invested into the
Yep.
into the game, into the community, into the process, right? And I know that sounds really cultish, like you got to trust the process. What it really comes down to is when I go to an event, I know that I'm paying for a ticket. I know I'm paying for an event pass. I know I'm going to pay for my travel and my food and all my, even when I'm going to the local one. I know I'm going to spend a lot of time. You can ask all the guys that we game with, guys that I've been gaming with for 2 weeks versus guys I've been gaming with for 6 or 7 years. Those same group of guys, in between rounds, in between events, in between days, it's always, where are we going for dinner? Who's going to have a drink? Where are we going now? Because we want to have the whole camaraderie of the whole group and everyone together. And you don't bail on your boys like that. You just don't. And even when you're a local person, say we were local to Dallas, Christian is local in Dallas. If Christian bailed early on that, I can't wait to see him in the store on Tuesday. Be like, "Hey, John, how's it going?" And John be like, "Where were you, dick?" Like, so, I'm okay with that. So, and I'm not going to be like, "Oh, shame, shame," and ring my bell through the town hall. What I'm saying is, John had a lot of price support for everybody to leave with something. And he did not skimp on that. There was a lot of really good things on that table to show appreciation. Like, hey, thank you for coming to my event. Thank you for growing the community. Thank you for coming and being a part of this thing I'm trying to produce. And then people don't show up for the last day. That's a kick in the nuts, man.
Not even just for the last day. I mean, the first day. Like, that's the thing that really shocked me is, look, I get it. I'm going to say emergency happens, stuff happens, life happens. You have to go and you have to take care of shit. I have a newborn. I didn't skip out, but I was always constantly looking. I was like, damn, do I have to leave? Do I have to leave? That's neither here nor there. But some of the things, like just sitting there and talking to John, and when things that happen, and it's not just him that said that. I mean, I've heard this from Seth. I heard this from us, our guys. Oh, this is just a regular thing. Man, that sucks when I hear that, man. We're trying to grow this community. We're trying to do everything. And that's just
Well,
a
even,
constant thing I hear is it happens.
and like, especially in that Dallas group, it was kind of cool because I went up there and, I try to go to a lot of events and I'd never been to TXO before. Because it was always kind of weird. It fell in a weird time of the year. This year, I was like, hell yeah, it's in January. I can make it. And I went up there, and a lot of guys were like, yeah, I play with that guy this day. I play with that guy. You're the first new person I've met. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so there's a bubble. There's like a little, an area there. So that's even more of an insult. If from my perspective, right? And I'm real big on the whole concept of, like if somebody's going out of their way to produce something really cool for you and they don't let you down, I'll tell you this right now. I've known John for a while. John doesn't let anybody down. Not when it comes to this hobby. If he says he's going to put on a hell of an event, he puts on a hell of an event. I 100% believe that. Every time he said, hey, do you need terrain? Do you need pieces? Do you need models? Do you need me to bring this? He's come through. John's brought terrain across the entire state of Texas to events to help set up tables and do all that stuff. And at the end of it, we end up with a lower head count than we had in the beginning. It's a normal thing. That shouldn't be the normal thing. I want to like even when it's the last day of the stuff, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna stick around. You guys want to have a farewell lunch? Y'all want to kick it for a little bit beforehand? Go grab a meal before we all head home. What do we want to do? Sometimes you just want to get home. I totally get it, but that's where the community comes from. That camaraderie, that support everybody, and imagine you're one of the guys who won an award, and all your friends are like, oh yeah, I'll see you at the shop. You can tell me all about it. So
I will say that one of the guys that left was gonna win Best Painted.
I don't know about that because I don't know
No,
about which
Kyle's
awards.
right on that one.
Yeah.
Really,
John
Kyle
said
really,
John said that
Yeah.
guy left, he was gonna win Best Painted.
nerd.
Yeah.
So and so that's
We
what I
mean it
mean is
all with
like,
love.
Yeah.
well, I
I
do,
mean,
and I'm like,
I feel
and,
bad.
and I don't mean this in any kind, like when I say these things, understand this isn't me trying to bully anybody or tell anybody like, oh, you're a big piece of shit. It's just a matter of we're all playing in the same space. We're trying to occupy the same source of entertainment, and we can do better. That's the goal, is to do better, right? I try not to leave events early. I try to, be a decent sport about a lot of things. I try to be, pretty level-headed about most things when it comes to gaming. I might be mildly bipolar when it comes to flyer rules, but
There's a
for the
place
most,
for them in this game, Gabe.
yeah, I'm sure. So when it all comes together, like I just feel that a lot of effort was put into an event, and a lot of guys didn't see it through. That
Yeah,
being
and
said,
take that as in, like you said. I know we're not trying to beat a dead horse, but it's not to be out there. It's just for all of us to open our eyes a little bit, because after playing this hobby for so long, we kind of like turn away from certain things, and this is one of them. This is one of them that we need to open our eyes, all of us, to. Let's be there for our local store and be there for our local guys holding local events, or big events.
now having said all of that, I enjoyed playing all my games. Man, they were dope. I met some cool new people, played some awesome games. Um, the way that John fixed the uneven teams was awesome.
Yeah, it was
So
amazing.
so like I said, we ended up with uneven numbers kind of midway through this whole thing. And kind of in the beginning we kind of had some uneven numbers. And so John came to me and Lucas was like, "Hey, do you guys still have your Titans here?" We're like, "Yeah, they're still here from the Titan fight." He goes, "Cool. When y'all break those out, it's going to be a 2v1, and we're going to do the engine kill mission out of the Night Questoris book." Genius solution. I would have never done that at one of my events. I would have been like, "No, the numbers are the numbers. Math is math." Like I would not have.
Loyalists are loyalists. Traitors are traitors.
No, I don't know if I would have gone that far. Like I'm not necessarily on that boat, but I'm definitely on the boat of like, but they were here. Like I don't like this one of the few times like, but you said you were gonna. Your name is on the roster. Yeah. So John was just like, "Yeah, cool. We'll just do that." And so we were like, "Okay." And then toward the end, a couple guys had come back late from lunch, and he was like, "Hey, do you and Lucas want to team up and do a 3v2 with the Titan Killer missions?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it. Bring the rain. Let's go." And so we played that for the last 2 rounds. We didn't even play a full 5 rounds. We played three the first day, and then the second day we just played a 3.5 hour game of heresy.
Yeah. Was
I'm not
3v2?
Yeah, and I'm not mad about that at all. I had a blast. It was my first time actually getting to roll dice with Lucas. I always kind of see this guy in passing because he's always like mush behind a table somewhere running the Fearix events. And so I never get to really talk to him and like game with him. It's always kind of like in passing. It was cool to actually roll some dice with him. He's a great dude. He's a lot of fun. I enjoyed all of my games. I did. There were also some really beautifully painted armies. But my
Yeah.
favorite part was that I was using my Titan in a regular game and people walking by being like, "Are you actually playing with that?"
Yeah.
I don't know how many pictures of my Titan are floating around in the ether right now.
A bunch. People loved it.
Yeah, there's a lot, and I really liked that. And then the Apocalypse game was fantastic. I absolutely love the fact that Kyle was piloting one of my Titans and it died to an armature.
That Titan was completely helpless to that armature.
Shout out to Trey for killing Titans with an armature. New guy that we met, dude. Great dude. He was sitting there. It's like, I don't know what I can do that thing. I'm like, "I'll tell you what, man. I'll set you up for it." And so we did some guns, we did some stuff, we crippled some legs. I'm like, "There you go, man. It's all you." And he did the damn thing, man. He ran up there with an armature and killed a nemesis. He killed a Warbringer Titan. That was hilarious. Oh, I
And
loved
hey,
it.
that's not an easy feat to do, guys. Titans rules are weird this edition, but they're pretty neat.
There was nothing I could do against it.
What do you mean there
He
was
was
nothing you do?
There's a minimum range on the weapons. I had no melee, and I
Be
couldn't
better.
walk away from him.
Do better.
I mean, That's like saying I can't do nothing about this 5-year-old that keeps kicking me in the shin.
No, I could kick a 5-year-old. Unless you're telling me there's a melee profile on that fucking Titan that no one ever told me about.
What do you mean no one ever told you about? Read your rules.
They're not my rules. It's not my Titan.
Yeah, realistically, like, yeah, he was kind of.
What the fuck am I? Dude, I barely read Thousand Suns rules. What makes you think I'm going to read Titan rules?
You remember when you promised me you're going to read all your rules 5 hours on that 5-hour drive?
Gabe and I talked about them. Decided to go with Death Guard.
That's what I'm saying. You talked about the Thousand Suns, and then you brought that
up. We talked about your rules the same way that old dude orders a martini on fucking Golden Circle. Like, I'd like to observe them through an unopened rule book.
Yeah. I went with the Death Guard, where all I did was walk forward and kill.
All in all, though, I loved the event. It was fantastic.
I do have one problem about the event, and this is the only shade that I'll throw on the event, and the only person I would talk shit about. My second round opponent, fuck that guy.
Yeah, what a piece of shit.
I heard he was an asshole and destroyed your fucking army and just beat the shit out of you turn 1.
Fuck yeah, dude. This rules lawyer motherfucker gave him a shot, brought him Dos Equis, and then he was just like, you can't see this shit. 100% valid. Like, I couldn't, but fuck you, Gabe. Probably one of the chillest games I had, and it was so fun. Just to hit on that high note, why it was so chill, even though I do play Gabe a lot. This is his first event that it was BYOB, and I'm not going to get onto other event prices and stuff like that for drinks, but you told me I could bring a fucking 12-pack of Dos Equis and a fucking couple bottles of Jamie. Oh, we were having fun.
Yeah, I was feeling it that second day. We were feeling it. And then one of the guys that I game with quite often, Will, gave me a bottle of Crystal Skull vodka in my game against him. Yeah. Yeah, I was feeling that. Another thing that was pretty cool was when I was meeting all the new people and I was talking to everyone. They're like, "Oh, what'd you bring?" And I'm like, I brought word bears. And they're like, "Oh yeah, what all did you bring?" And I was like, "Oh, I brought this." And they're like, "Where are all your tanks? Where are your Terminators?" And I was like, oh,
I got Angron.
I got.
Did you just say Angron? Are you drunk right now?
Not Angron.
Are you still feeling it?
All these names are the fucking same.
No,
right?
All the same. All the same.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah.
All the same. Oh,
yeah. If you take out the A, the G, and the R, I think it sounds like Margal.
Margal and Agertol, Angron.
Oh my!
Barbasol and Barbitol.
You country bumpkin piece of shit! You.
Dude, it's like Elton John and Eric Clapton. All right, I just can't keep them separated.
So yeah, I did have Argotol on the list, and I did have
Okay.
10 Galvor. I did have 10 Galvor back. Realistically, more people died to Ash and Circle than anything else. Like Hand Flamers roast, man.
Volley Step is, I need to give that a little bit more respect than I did. Oh, man, I feel so bad. I forgot the dude's name that brought the Sons of Horus, but he put a newfound respect. I wouldn't say love, but respect for the Sons of Horus. And I was like, dude, I kind of want to build something around this. Because that volley fire he did was crazy.
I think that was Liam.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. Finish your thought, bud.
Go ahead.
While you have it fresh in your mind, finish your thought.
Let me tell you about volley and what I did to the Blood Angels player, Ben.
Beautiful
So
army, by the way. Beautiful
yeah,
army.
beautiful. One best painted, legit, because he was there for the awards. It was
Deservingly.
deservedly. Yeah. What was it 30 of the Crimson Paladins? Oh, that army was gross. But I got Morty and the Grave Wardens. I shot them. He shot at me. I returned fire on his turn, right? And then I shot him again on my turn. And then I set up, move, volleyed, failed the charge, passed the cool test because I had Morty. And then he shot at me, so I shot back at him again. He shot me with one bolt pistol because that's all he had. And for some reason, he let me do it. I was like, all right, cool, I'm returning fire. So I shot him again. And then I volleyed him and charged him and actually made the charge. And it went from 10 Crimson Paladins and a Praetor to 1 Crimson Paladin and a Praetor by the time I got there because I just kept unloading those toxin bomb assault grenade launchers on him. I think I shot him like 150 times before I actually charged him. It was fucking gross. All because of volley and reactions.
Now, so I want to get to the overarching theme of the event, and I want to tie that into a concern I have about heresy in general. This is going to be the closest I get to throwing shade, other than the whole like people dropping from the event thing. So, John crafted a fantastic narrative event. And then everything we saw was not narrative per se. Like, I guess the way I can see this is I think as a community, we need to we need to reinvestigate what our definition of a narrative list or a narrative event is. I'm totally okay with you bring whatever toys you want. You want to bring the rain, that's cool. But the truth of the matter is, I think that we don't know what narrative is anymore. Because I brought what I thought was a pretty, narrative, corrupted, malefic style word bears list. Christian brought a pretty like themed Iron Warriors, automata, trench style list with some tanks.
I'll put it out there. My list wasn't the best of narrative. It's what I could pull out of, but I think it was pretty tamed, and I tried to make it as narrative as I could. But I could be at fault of what Gabe's about to say too. I will take that.
I thought mine was pretty narrative.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It was definitely a carryover from second ed for your death card, but
Well, yeah. But I
here's
mean, I feel
here's
like, yeah, okay, go ahead. I know what you're saying.
so we need to reinvestigate what we consider to be a narrative event and a narrative army. We just had someone build a campaign for us in a game with immersive tables, immersive story, all these cool things. And then we promptly abandoned it. We need to get back into the mindset of narrative is not being able to justify your list. Narrative is playing the story. My head has gone into two different camps. The first camp is where I'm the little engine that could, and I'm going to keep pushing this narrative thing, and we're going to be great. The other camp in my head is bring the pure distilled angry fuck you cancer list and just dial it as like season as needed. Part of me wants to bring the most toxic, angry, beat up list and add pepper by opponent. Because that's what I feel like I saw. Not that people were purposely trying to build these lists that were like over the top crazy, but I was seeing a lot of things in lists that I was like, okay, is the story we're telling supposed to be in a pamphlet? I'm misunderstanding the plot, right? Some of those armies were very well themed, but they still had a lot of stuff in it that I was like, that doesn't quite click for me. And it feels like we're building our lists and then we can justify it afterwards, right? We can like don't be wrong. Like if you come to me and you're like, "Hey Gabe, what's in your list?" I'm like, "Oh, I brought 7 Kratos and 2 Masters of Signal." Oh yeah, yeah. I call this list the Armory. It's the Armory in a dropship. Okay, there's a narrative there. Is it a good narrative? Not necessarily, right? We need to get back to what narrative means, and whether that's us changing our approach to the game itself, and we start saying, "Hey, I'm going to play the narrative part of the mission." You know, when we were playing the Big Titan game, it was kind of hilarious. Lucas and I were on one side, and we're looking at their objective for there was a mission objective for capturing civilians. Every turn you sat on this objective, and you would get a certain number of civilians. And again, John brought, I think, like 12 trays of little human models that were the civilians.
Yeah. Yeah.
At
They were
one point,
pewter too.
so some were pewter, yeah. And so at one point, I looked over and I'm like, how many fucking civilians does Horace have? They're like, we're up to 37. I was like, fucking what? Like, dude, Horace looked like he was like running an orphanage. And then Lucas looks at me. He goes, hey, those guys get added to his unit, yeah? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. He goes, we should ask John if we can target the kids. Because, like, man, I can fit a lot of those little people under a 7-inch blast template. Let me tell you what. But we couldn't do that. John said that he didn't know. Here, answer of the day. Sorry, guys. I didn't let the salamander burn the kids alive. I can't let you do it now.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a salamander player.
Probably because he was the kind of salamander player who wants to burn kids. While we're on the
Yeah,
topic of
true
narrative,
story.
that's what I mean. So I think we need to get back into the mindset of playing the narrative more than playing to win or lose necessarily. Because most of the awards that we're seeing are not purely kitted around winning and losing. Is there an award for winning games? Yeah. Is it as cool as the award for, having the best story, playing the best mission, playing the storyline the way it was? No, it's not. And we can do better as a community of conveying that. One, because I don't know how John feels about it. John's been in the hobby probably longer than me. Who might be one of the few people that has been. Uh, it sucks to continuously invest yourself into pushing something and pushing something and pushing something. And it's the equivalent of you go and you get your kid a really nice present and they're entertained by the box. It's that kind of energy. You guys know what I mean?
And while this is freshly in my head, just thinking about this, we get it. Everyone has communities. Probably don't want to be the one to speak out. You probably don't want to be the one to say anything. Hey, if you come to us and just talk to us, we're not going to tell anyone who you are, and we'll bring it up as our topic. We'll take the heat. This is what rambling is for.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'm well padded and I could give two shits. Like I'll address the crazy thing in the room, right? And that's part of what I think everyone is afraid of is like everyone's like, man, I really want to say something, or man, I don't want to be that guy. I'll be that guy. I don't mind. You know, I know that at one point there was a group out of I want to say Abilene, no Amarillo, that actually had a bounty on me at tournaments because I found out that some guys were like, for lack of a better term, they were kind of bullying some people on some of the games, and so I just thought, okay, I'll just go to their events and I'll just start mollywopping people. And so I went and took the most competitive list that I could take. This is back in the 40K days, and I'm okay being that guy. I'm okay with being that guy in Heresy. I'm okay with being the person who's like, hey, what kind of list did you bring? Oh, I brought 4 Kratos. I found a way to bring a Fellblade, and then I brought 3 Vindicator laser destroyers, and 20 seekers. Neat.
Yeah, because like one of the overarching problems that leans into this and where people is, and I'm not saying it's this event, but we've had it like let me use Lake Hammer. Let me use our event as a thing. When you're sitting across from someone that has something that utterly destroys you, we plant that seed in someone else's head. Like, ooh, those 3 Vindicators were really fucking good. I'm thinking about putting them in my list. That when you get your ass kicked that much, it's something that happens. You planted that seed in that player's mind, and I think, and I'm not saying 3.0 did it, but we've come a long way from the narrative, I think.
Yeah, we've definitely drifted further and further away from the narrative mindset is what I'll say. And I remember like it, some of the changes have been good, right? I do remember a time when people had to suffer the rivet counters. This is well before you guys got into heresy, but there was a time when people would walk over your table and be like, "Oh, you're playing Ultramarines." I actually have. You guys have seen my collection. I had somebody come up and say, "Hey, your army's wrong," and I was like, "I did I make my list wrong? Like, what did I do?" And they're like, "No, like that mark of armor wasn't ever used with those tanks around. Your army isn't valid." What?
What? What?
I was like, "Huh?" And they were like, "Yeah, like Mark IV armor was only around during this part and this part. That model was from Betrayal at Calth, and then maybe this right here wasn't that same. And your color trim on your shoulders isn't the right trim. I don't know if this is a legal army. I was told I could not play in the narrative event."
That's some
Be-
bullshit.
and I was like, okay, cool. And so I went to the next event, and I was like, "Hey, I had to drop from that event. Can I hop into this one?" And they were like, "Sure, why'd you drop from that one?" And I was like, "Oh, apparently I'd have this and this, but this wasn't a thing during this time." I'll never forget it, man. I'm not gonna name drop. So for lack of a better name, I'm gonna use Lou. This guy goes, "Wait."
Because Lou was his name.
No, I'm not gonna drop. I'm not gonna, because this is hilarious, but it's fucked up. I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, Lou over there," and this guy was like, "Lou, quit being a piece of shit. Yeah, you can play over here." And I was like, okay. So that was the thing, right? And so I don't want to get to a point where we're so hard nosed that we're just like, no, actually, I'm not doing that. What I am going to say is, if we're going to go to a narrative event, we need to respect the narrative. We need to play the narrative. We need to have fun with it. We have a lot of people investing time and effort into telling this amazing story, and then we're just dropping the ball. You know, I want you guys to play with the models you want to play with. I have never been the kind of guy who will tell you, hey, you can't play XYZ because of this.
So,
What I will
uh,
say,
can I ask a question?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Fire away, man.
And it's probably late. It's probably real late for this question, but I'm asking anyway. What the fuck is narrative?
Okay. Okay.
Because I build my list to try and to try and have an answer for all these goddamn tanks and terminators.
So, okay. It's okay to build a list to have answers for that. That's perfectly fine. The narrative in my mind has always been less about the list and more about the intention. When we build for narrative, you should be able to lean into all the wonderful things that you try to do in like an RPG. Like right now, I can tell you what the word bearers list that I have built. My centurion's name is Malik. He is the shepherd of the blessed. The reason he carries a tainted blade is because he is the shepherd of the anointed, and he's trying to get more and more of the neverborn into the world. That is his gimmick. That's why he travels with Argyle Tall, the Gal Vorbak, the Margal, the corrupted Marines, the Ashen Circle. He's surrounded by all of these tainted, crazy, malefic units because he thinks it is a blessing, not a curse. That's my army gimmick. That is the concept now. Do I have an answer for tanks? Yeah, melta bombs will open anything with a can-do attitude.
Now, if you roll a 1,
Spartans are gross, right? The Spartans can kill another tank. Do I have an answer for Terminators? Yeah, it's more Terminators. I bring the Freitas Anointed, which are the new malefic Terminator unit. I bring the Gal Vorbak and the Margal. These things can open tanks and they can hurt elite units. Do I have an answer for challenges? Yeah, Argyle Tall's a beast. But when I built the list, it wasn't how can I win? That was not the first question. That was the second question. And that's what we need to get back to in narrative is we need to get back to the mental construct of I want to build a list to tell a story that I want to tell and I want to do, and then I want to give it options to be viable. Right? The other thing about narrative, and we completely whiffed on it at TXO, and the narrative is when you're playing the missions, you play the story. If the story is we're trying to rescue these kids from this burning building, cool, go rescue some damn kids. Don't run by the building and be like, damn, that sucks, but there's points over here. It's like, honestly, Kyle, it's playing those kind of games kind of feels like playing certain games with you online where I'm like, hey, man, I'm in a firefight. Where are you? And you're like, hang on, I got 2 more boxes to loot. That's what it feels like, right? So,
Hey. I am proud to be a loot goblin, and I will never apologize for it.
oh, yeah, exactly. So,
Kyle's the goddamn problem.
yeah,
You heard it
Kyle's the
here
problem.
first.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I'm playing with this group of guys down in Victoria, and I feel like shit about it because I haven't been able to get down there and play some games. I haven't been able to play and do some stuff. And dude, these guys are writing amazing mission follow-up lore where they're actually telling the tale of how the battle unfolded and all that's being thrown together, and the guy who's coordinating it is putting all that story into it, and he's building the next mission around what's happening in the games. That is a narrative escalation link. That's a narrative event. And you can pull that off in a short 5-day event. Or I'm sorry, a 5-game, 2-day event. You can pull that off. But the players are abandoning it because we're seeing the value in the wins and the losses more than we're seeing the value in the story. Heresy is never supposed to have been about the wins and the losses. It was supposed to be about enjoying the crazy shit that's in this game, having fun, playing with all the models you want, like doing all that stuff. And I can understand losing sucks. But not if you lose fun. If you're having a good time either way, like you're having a good time. And like I said, most of the awards that are going on and most of the prize support that you're seeing is driven around narrative in the heresy side, not so much about the wins and losses.
Yeah, I noticed that.
So that's where I think we've kind of lost our way. We've definitely lost scope on the narrative side of things.
And this is also a new edition. We have new mission rules. So, this is something that we probably just are going to have to work out as a community when we do these narrative ones. And I'm not saying, because the way to also answer your question, Kyle, is like, it. Let me put it to you this way: when we were playing, like the Alamo missions, we built some lists that were pretty good, but those lists didn't matter what the fuck we put in it because we were searching for, like, it wasn't like stand on this, score this, stand on this, score this. It was like, hey, we got to go to all these trees and we got to find our Santa Ana, or we got to find some, like, the mission was more narrative, and we like forgoed everything. We're like, fuck this, I ain't gonna shoot with my big powerful fucking unit. He's gonna go and try to get this guy out of this tree. Like, I'm gonna forgo blowing up all your guys or fighting this over here. I want to find this dude. I want to get these narrative points. Like, so that's probably how I could answer that question for you, Kyle. Is like some of those narrative missions we played doing that, where we didn't care about. Yeah, we had an opponent over there. We did destroy some of the stuff, but we didn't go out of our way to table the opponent on the other side.
Yeah. I mean, I tried playing the objective and I still lost.
And that's probably one of the things that we need to be okay with. It's okay to lose. Not every story has a win, right?
Yeah,
I'm okay.
sometimes you get death, sometimes you get glory.
And sometimes you decide to embrace a cool new tactic, like I'm going to run over that guy, and you get death or gloried.
Yeah. Fuck chain fists.
You tried to run over. What is wrong with you?
First of all, I didn't know that they had a chain fist in there. Second of all, I needed the angle to get my last cannons on my Spartan on that falchion.
You
And,
tried to run over Chain Fist, and you thought a death or glory wasn't going to happen. Mm.
well, I mean, I thought it would, but I had one whole point left. Like, what's the chances?
Enough.
Pretty fucking high. He hit all three. Yeah. Yeah.
So now that we've covered that, and we've kind of gotten into it, now I want to get back on like where we're going in the future, right? Alamo, Heresy at the Alamo tickets are on sale. The website's up. The event information's in the Discord, and Kyle, I'll have you add a link to it in this video description if you don't mind.
Okay.
I would also like you guys to know Christian is the only person from Late Night Dice that did not have a cart this weekend. That's
true. Yeah. Kyle's the only one from Late Night S that didn't have a display board.
That's true.
That means if I put you and Christian together, y'all make one complete nerd. I thought it was kind of nice. There were a pretty good amount. There were a pretty good amount of carts, pretty good amount of stuff. It really does help the games go smooth. But yeah, we've got Alamo coming up. I'm waiting to see when War Games Con is going to drop. For those of you who are going to be at Adepticon, holler at me. I'll be up there. If you're one of the people signed up for the BAG and you want to run a Titan, holler at me. I'll have extras. Beyond that, what else do you guys want to talk about? I think we're wrapped up. I think we're at the end here.
What?
Are you sure, Gabe? Are you sure?
I'm 5 bourbons deep, bro. Like y'all steer this boat somewhere. Don't hit any rocks.
What did this weekend teach you about your list, and are you going to change anything?
I don't think I'm going to change anything. I considered it for a minute. Like, don't get me wrong. I came out of the event and I was like, you know what? Fine. We'll do it live. Like, I came out of that wanting to just rebuild everything to go full tilt. And I was like, never mind. I'm probably not going to change the word bearer list very much. I got a pretty good amount of reps in it, and it works pretty well the way it is. You've got to try to kill tanks. That's a hard part. Like, you've got really got to invest some effort into killing tanks, but I liked how it played. It was really fun. I burned a bunch of Auxilia alive. My buddy Avash, man. Oh, we definitely rocked that one. I'm probably not going to modify the list. It works pretty well. It does what it's supposed to do, and it fits the concept of what I wanted out of that list. It does really well. So I'm probably not going to change that.
My list is changing. My list is changing entirely. Like I said, we threw this list 2 days before the event. I was supposed to take custodes. but narratively wanted to take the Tormentor because I haven't been able to field it. So I did that. I'm still working on the list. I'm still working on a theme for my Iron Warriors. I got some ideas. I'm not sure. I got to see if it's too strong first to bring it. Um, I did learn one thing, and the bubble of Terminators is real. Playing the mission, playing with a bunch of tacticals, just trying to get out. It worked. Like that's still there, but the amount of stuff that was there, just Terminators, like that I couldn't shift. And I know a lot of people are saying, "Well, Vanguard's a bad rule." You know what? Doesn't matter because they could still score 1 point to your 0 when you have nothing sitting on the objective, and they have 2 5 Terminator squads just sitting on objectives. So that bubble was eye opening there. Uh, I have a lot. I went to that event and there's a lot of talk about Custodi's bad, Flyers kind of bad, stuff that are bad, and now I'm just all like, dude, I want to make those work now. Let's make an all Flyers list. See how that works or something. So I got some stuff I want to do. Hence, Gabe, Gabe with the what is her name again? I'm sorry, I blanked on her.
Latara
Lotara.
Sarin.
Yeah. And why she gets pluses to aerial reserve rolls.
So it bothers me that the one Legion World Eaters is going to be like, yo, I want to hit that with an axe. And you're like, absolutely. How about some air support? Said no World Eater ever.
Well,
It's aggravating.
one World Eater, apparently.
It's not even a World Eater. It's a ship captain. It's a regular human.
Who
Now, don't
put
get me
her in
wrong.
charge?
In this, actually, she's pretty badass in the story.
No, she
Like,
is pretty badass.
don't let me sell her short. Like, she's a beast. She's actually one of the few people like that would go to Karn and be like, "Your daddy's acting like a dick again, bro." 100%. Like, I think at one point they were like, "We have to get Karn over here," and they're like, "How do you want to do it?" And he's like, "Lock him in the cage." Like, he broke the cage. Cool. Put him in the labyrinth. So they borrowed a ship that had a labyrinth built for Vulcan, and they put him in it, and they basically put him in there and just said that'll occupy him long enough for us to get there. Like, she's a beast, dude. She really is a really cool commander, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of against the concept of having a T3 human that can give better area support than any other unit. And she can also call in orbital bombardments.
Yeah, that one's
She'd
so
be
cool.
yeah, she'd be gross.
Otherwise, that's just so fucking cool. It takes three of your reaction points, but
Yeah, you gotta
it's so cool.
you definitely gotta empty the bowl, but it could be clutch. Who knows? A lot of rules clarification happened this weekend. I'll say that. There are a lot of rules that I misunderstood that I still didn't fully grasp. There are some that I still don't fully grasp even more.
Like
Hey,
what?
shout out to everyone that had a book though. That out of all the people that were there, everyone at least had a rule book on them. Like
No,
everyone had their books.
nah, man, we need to talk about this shit. Y'all need rules. Whenever I'm hearing somebody and they're like, "Oh yeah, man, my guy can do this, this, and this," I'm like, I don't know if that's how that reads. They're like, "No, it's right here in New Recruit," and I'm like, "Ugh." I love New Recruit. It's a fantastic army building aid. New Recruit is not the rules. Get a book, read it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, I know I said everyone had rules. Everyone had books and everyone had the rules. Also, having those books, you gotta comprehend the words the correct way,
But I
and
will
that's
say,
still a problem.
in my defense, because some of this comes back to me not reading or knowing my rule. In my defense, I was looking at 1,000 Suns rule, and there are 4 different places that talks about the magic users and the cult arcana and the psychic abilities, and you had to go to the 4th place to find. You had to go to all 4 places to find the complete set of rules, to find the complete ruling. You know what I mean? Like, these books could be written better too.
Yeah, I will say that. So guys, if you're reading a rule and it sounds crazy, it is. There's another rule that probably curtailed the crazy. So when you're looking at, say, like Prosper and Arcanas, right? It'll say everybody in this bitch gets slap hands. Everybody can Rick James somebody. And you're like, oh shit. And then you go back to the front of the book and it goes, only one person from the squad can do this. If you're reading about reserves are in a really weird place. You can only deep strike one unit per turn, never on the first turn, but you can bring in reserves willy-nilly. So it's weird. And Christian pointed this out to me this morning, or was it? No, it was this afternoon. I'm losing time. um we have a really bad habit. I do it, Christian does it, Kyle does it, I know that everyone who's reading rules does it. I think the only person who doesn't is our buddy Brian. But we'll read the rules and we'll go deep strike, blah 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 blah. Okay, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Yep, right there it says you only do once per turn. Everything we skipped is important now. We have to actually read that shit.
Yeah, it was it was literally when we were reading the rules through Gabe, and I was like, this is why it's fucked up. And he was like, why? And I was like, I catch myself going blah 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 blah. Where's the actual key? And I was like, I need to stop doing that. I'm gonna go back, Gabe. Let me go back and read it word for word.
Well,
Yeah.
it's really one of those, like, but I get tired of reading the same sentence 3 times, and it's like, well, it's not the same sentence. The second sentence had one different word and put a comma in a different place, and we all have to be constitutional scholars to understand what they mean by putting a comma here.
Yeah, Gabe was getting pissed at me because I read it like 4 fucking times. He's like, "You read it 4 times. It's not changing, Christian." I'm like, "I have to make sure because it's still stupid."
Bro, for real, I was having a T-Pain moment. Like, quit sending me this bullshit. We have it already. But yeah, it does make sense. Like, we actually have to read now. We can't skip over stuff or graze over it like we used to. That's a pretty big thing. Another thing that I realized in some of the rules this weekend is the sequencing is different than how I mapped it before. Some things I was doing right, some things I was doing like in just the wrong kind of orders here and there. So that's definitely something that I'm gonna have to do. I have to deep dive my rules and actually read them line by line.
Yeah, and as a community, we have to stop doing the fucking. In last edition, though, it's not last edition. We need to get all this. This is a totally new game. I know people hate hearing that, but it's just a different game now.
Yeah, that is something that we need to do. Like, we're in third edition. We need to just make the plunge and not worry about what last edition did for us. Like, we just
As
need to
our
go.
as our Marines friends would say, embrace the suck.
I don't think it suck. It's just it's a new rule set, and we've got to be at peace with it. We've got to start rolling with it. Once we start actually absorbing it and respecting it, we'll be fine.
Yeah, because I don't I love this edition. Like I'll be the first to say I love it. I know some people are like, I don't know, too soon. No, I really do love this edition, but there is some little things that catch people off guard that in the moment is like I fucking hate that rule. Then you start playing with it a little bit more, and then you're like, okay, I could see why they did that, or you're just like, fuck it, it's a rule. I need to know that. Let's live with it. Let's all understand it. Let's continue on playing, because I would say about 85% of the game for me, I would almost say like 90% for me is good. They wrote the rules a little bit weird. They're really weird to like understand because you have to go through all these different pages and look for them. But once you understand the rules, it it's a good game. I like it.
Kyle, did you have any crazy revelations?
I definitely need to lean into my Thousand Suns. Death Guard's fun and all, but they are very straightforward and very two dimensional, I would say. And I kind of want something that I want to go to the Thousand Suns and do some crazy wizard, space wizard, blow your head up bullshit. I'm just gonna be sure that
Yeah.
I apologize every time I do inside to you.
Yeah, I'll say that I'm still gonna hit up a few events, do some playthroughs. But I will say, if we don't get back on the trails of the narrative line, I'm gonna stop curtailing myself. That's probably my hot take for this episode, is like, if we keep drifting from narrative, I'll see how far we can drift. I know that sounds horrible, but everyone who's played with me is like, please don't.
I mean, as long
So,
as you're on my team, yeah.
like right now,
That
somewhere
that
Seth.
that's another thing. That right there needs to fucking go. No, the traitor and loyalist thing needs to go to have these events stay alive. I will say that
I
shit
do agree
because
with
you
that. Yeah.
dodging people or people at that mindset of dodging someone else, like that's crazy.
No, not only that, balancing the fucking teams. There's
So,
never enough loyalists.
so there's a deep rooted kind of thing with heresy where it is loyalists versus traitors. It's really a deep rooted story. But I agree, we need to get away from it. We've talked about it before. Only reason I think we need to get away from it is because we act like traitors and loyalists can't score points when they're fighting each other. Like, there's a lot of infighting with all of the factions all the way through the heresy. There was tons of it. So it can be made to make sense in the story. And points are points.
We're all turning on the Emperor, but fuck you. I'm gonna fight you.
Well, so you think it will also help promote the narrative, because even though it's like, okay, we have some loyalists on loyalists, cool, that happened. It was a thing. Traitor on traitor happened a lot, right?
Yeah, isn't
So
like Space Wolves and the Dark Angels like one of those? Like they see each other sometimes and they're just like, "Oh, our best warriors got to fight
On site.
yeah,
or challenge." Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so the only reason we keep doing the loyalist and traitor thing is because it's kind of the status quo. Like, it's what everybody does. We should get away from it. Not because it's bad for the story, but because it's good for the game. We go places and it's like, okay, cool. We have too many traders and too many loyalists. You need to flip sides. I'm playing Argyle Hall and a bunch of corrupted half demon fucking Marines. Not sure how we're going to pitch that one. But okay, right? I think it just needs to be games. Let the points fall where they fall. You can still have best loyalist, best trader, all that kind of stuff. Even if we have to infight, it's fine. The other thing that needs to end is we have to evolve past this weird concept that we have where, okay, I'm going to throw some shade at Kyle. Okay. Kyle, are you ready? Because this is going to be a jab.
It's sunny out here. Bring the shade.
This sit to piss bitch made boy ducked a White Scars player.
Brought to you
did.
by Seth. Seth
Right.
had the
Now-
fear in this
now-
man.
Now
I got
Kyle's over
traumas.
here. Kyle's over here like I got white scar trauma, and I'm like, fuck your trauma. It's a game. Like roll the dice, And part of that is, one of the bad things of heresy. This is a bad side effect of heresy in general. I
I'm
played a
sorry.
game.
I'm sorry. I gotta because that guy picked you up because the way John did it, we all got to pick our opponent or whatever. That guy picked him. I was like, all right, cool, man. When you play, and he said white scars. He said, hell no, I put someone else. And I'm pretty sure that guy did not know why Kyle reacted that way. But me and Gabe did, and we just started giggling.
I told
Well,
him.
like
I
it.
told him I got white scars trauma. I don't want that.
So
My body's not ready.
that's a problem, right? I say it's a problem because even I'm guilty of it. Yeah, I played a game against a guy, very competent player, playing Thousand Suns, and I was like, man, Thousand Suns are fucking rough. And I was like, man. And Kyle came over and was like, man, don't do that. He's gonna play my Thousand Suns like that. Cool. I think that when I look at a table and somebody's like, I'm playing Iron Warriors, I shouldn't have a predisposed idea of what I'm facing. Every list should be different, especially in third edition. Every list is going to be wildly different. I mean, there's going to be a couple of things in there. Like I know I'm going to run into some Kratos, and God knows I'm going to run into Vindicators. But the Thousand Suns player you played last week is not the Thousand Sun player you play tomorrow. The White Scars guy that you played at this event is not the White Scars guy you're playing at this other event. We cannot say, I'm not going to enjoy this game because I don't like that faction. Because you don't know how it's going to play because there's so many contrasting differences between each list now. So we need to break that cycle. That
You had
that
people
needs
on
to go.
bikes. That's all I needed to see.
No, you're wrong.
I
You're
know.
wrong.
I know. I will say I probably thoroughly enjoyed the game because I know that guy is a good player and was a good sport. But
his
I
his
didn't.
army was like narrative as fuck when it came to playing those games. It was actually a joy to kind of peek over and watch him play that White Scars army. I think he was playing Noah, and Noah was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this," and he's like, "Oh yeah, cool. No, that's fine." He's like, "You don't care," and he's like, "Nah." Narratively, the Khan sent these guys out to repent for whatever the blah blah blah. He's like, "Kill him. Let's go. Let's roll some dice." I was like, "That's fucking cool."
And I watched him play a couple roles, and I was like, okay, that would have been a fun. But also, I was just really tired on Sunday, and I was like, I don't want to again.
No, like that's again going back to our original thought. Like I don't like that. Either you were there for the event or you weren't. Man the
Well,
fuck up.
I was the odd one out. Somebody had to sit out, and so I volunteered.
It's like a bunch of bullshit. Ugh.
The only other person that was left was the guy that left early.
There were a couple
And
guys that left early,
and
so
I'd
there,
already played him.
so there is that. Like I said, I'm not gonna like tell everybody like, oh my god, like forget all the horrible things that happened to you. Just understand the guy you're playing now is not the guy you're playing next week,
Yeah,
and we should
I
keep
would
that
have
in
I would
mind.
have thoroughly enjoyed that for sure. But I was the odd one out, and they hadn't played each other yet. I think it was you, Christian, wasn't it?
No, I played a
It was-
Death Guard player at the end.
Okay, it was someone else who hadn't played against him, but the other guy that was available to play, I'd already played against, so he left.
Fair.
I just volunteered to not play the second game on Saturday or Sunday, and also White Scars trauma.
Coward.
I would say though at the event that when we were there was out of all the legions, I am surprised we didn't see more salamanders. I was expecting all the Iron Warriors. A lot of Iron Warriors dude out there. I wasn't expecting the Death Guard players though. There was a pretty good amount of Death Guard players there. I think there was like 4 or 5.
I think it was
I'm
3, and then one of them was an allied detachment.
I want y'all to know I'm disappointed that none of y'all played Ultramarines. I take one event off.
Yeah, well, not everybody wants to
And
be a blueberry Gabe.
it's rude.
What is it? Instant
I mean,
childish?
I mean, were you really expecting to see an Ultramarines player? Like even in 2.0, you didn't see that many Ultramarines players, right?
A girl can hope.
um, there was also a beautiful painted Alpha Legion list
Yeah,
that
Alpha
was there.
Legion
That one
army.
was nice. Yeah,
That was so
that one was
pretty.
nice. Um, I thought we would see more Primarchs too. Just people loving their
Mm,
Primarchs. We didn't see that many Primarchs. I just saw Horus and then Morty from Kyle. I think those were the
yeah.
only Primarchs there, right?
Um. Yeah. No. Well, Sevatar? No, he's just a champion, right?
No, Scimitar is he's a really really
Captain.
high command captain, but
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. I think it was
Uh,
just the
hey,
two of us.
shout out shout out to Will. I won my bet because he brought a Typhon and Gabe said we wouldn't see any of those, and we saw more of those than Fellblades. So
I'm gonna fight you, man. I'm just gonna start fighting y'all. I'm just gonna, nah,
um the Iron Warriors lists that were all there were pretty cool, even though one was sneakily a Space Wolf list.
What if they were the Iron Warriors but Space Wolves?
Yeah, I mean that shines some light on the awkward bombards for me now that I'm like, hey, I want to try one of those. So that was a pretty cool list. Yeah, just the legions that I thought that we would see. Um, I think Gabe hit it on the head. He was like, if I wasn't gonna bring World Eaters, that we're not gonna see any World Eaters. I didn't. Yeah, we didn't see any World Eaters, which I thought that would be an army that people would play more. I was kind of sad that I saw Alan playing over on the 40K side. That's the dude that I know would love his World Eaters, and my boy Lance, and but we didn't have anyone on the Heresy side playing it. Um, was there any
I
army that
asked.
you wanted to see there, Gabe, just to like see what they could do?
we had a pretty good mix of stuff there. I didn't get to play against some of the legions I wanted to play against. Like, I really wanted to play against Dark Angels and see how they're actually playing this edition.
Yeah, I'm cooking up
See-
a Dark Angels list right now too. Pretty tasty. I like it.
I really wanted to see what some of the veteran Dark Angel players were really feeling,
Hmm.
because a lot of them are a little twisted about this edition because they lost their 900 detachments, but then they got 900 more new ones.
Well, yeah. Like the rules have definitely changed where they just don't get these weird, random rules. But that is also a good subject that I think we should talk about when it comes to what your legion does and why I wanted to see, because I think the power in some legions is those detachments that it unlocks for you, and a lot of people are noticing that. One, because they're probably using new recruit and don't have the actual book and see where if you take this detachment, it just unlocks a prime slot for you, which a bunch of people are leaving power on the table or leaving like able to make it a malefic unit or a logistical benefit. Like people are like, I think I saw one. I was like, hey, you know that detachment unlocks a prime unit for you, right? Like somewhere in there, you should have like he's a paragon or take your just your Legion Prime benefit. And yeah, that I don't think I saw it at this event, but I know talking to people when we do talk about list construction and stuff, some people are leaving that and just not thinking about it because it is a new concept. It's new to them. Yeah, but other than Dark Angels, was that the only one?
Yeah, for the most part. I saw most of the armies that I kind of wanted to see. Like I said, I was a little upset I didn't see any Ultramarines, but that's kind of par for the course. Funny enough, the other person I know who plays Ultramarines is the guy who was running it. So I was pretty happy with the turnout. There was a great mix. I enjoyed the atmosphere. I enjoyed like playing with all those guys, and I like the fact that we had some 40K players playing in the APOC game, playing in the Heresy APOC game. I really enjoyed it. Met some cool new people. I kind of want to try and find some time to get back up there and start getting into some of those monthly Dallas games that Lucas and John have going. Because I'm kind of a glutton for punishment because I still haven't found some people in San Antonio that want to play just normal heresy rules. That's probably my next like hill to die on. Is I'm gonna
Oh,
try to actually find some San Antonio players that want to play and start going to some of the events. That's my next big goal.
you don't want to play Panoptica?
We can only hit so many trigger words today. Like,
I live far too close to be throwing this many triggers out there.
well, for now we're gonna wrap. It's this one's been kind of a longer one. Uh, actually, I don't actually know how long we've been recording today,
Uh,
but there was a lot of info in this one, and we're a week or so behind. But TXO, fantastic. John, again, thank you for the work that you do. Thanks for what you do for the community. That was a fantastic time. Thanks for having us. And just everybody, thanks for great games. I hope that some of you guys are listening in. If you have any suggestions, as always, holler at us. Hit us up here in the Discord. We will start getting back into our Thursday night TTS. And Christian's kind of trying to get more and more people in here to kind of flesh that out. So keep that in mind. But with that being said, as always, happy dice, happy life. Fuck Erebus, and
Adios.
adios.